everybody, it's Rose Smith here from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. So glad you could be with me today. I've got the June 2023 horoscopes. June is a very challenging month, but also a hugely transformational month for many people. The first half of the zodiac, that is signs Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo and Virgo. There's a combo there of 2 or 3 T-squares for all of those signs. And then the second half of the zodiac, that is Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius and Pisces, start the month with a grand cross. Okay, so that is a challenging but very significant and transformational aspect. It involves the moon. These T-squares and this grand cross involves the moon. So that means it's not going to last very long. And it's right at the beginning of the month. So say 30th of May or 1st of June, right around there, something very significant could happen for many people. But it is very quickly dealt with. And as the moon moves quickly, it does its business and then it goes. So it's not something that's probably going to be hanging around because you're going to have a resolution pretty quickly. So try not to be overly concerned. But there's no eclipses. There are 3 retrograding planets, so Saturn, Neptune, and also Pluto. So that means that a lot of energies will be internalized. So you'll be going over things in your mind and in your feelings, but there may be no obvious physical manifestation. Okay, so I'll just go through the main aspects with you now as a sort of introduction, and then you can go and click on the timestamps below and go to your star sign. Do check out your moon and your ascendant as well. I'll just put something on here so you're not watching me all of the time because that can be a little bit boring. So it's important to realize that the stars impel. They do not compel. You are not forced into anything, so to speak. Okay, let's start. And we do have a full moon in Sagittarius on the 4th for everybody. This is probably bringing a little bit of excitement into your life so that you can stop with the humdrum and get out of a rut if you're in a rut, so to speak. That's fairly important. There's Venus conjuncting with Leo, in Leo with Mars. So Venus joins Mars in Leo. And this is going to bring a union and integration of opposites. That means that you'll have more power and more control over your life. It's a really beneficial energy. Mercury changes signs into Gemini, and Mercury does rule Gemini, so this will be particularly strong for Gemini and also Virgo. Lots of fresh ideas and brilliant communications. Pluto goes back into earthy Capricorn on the 12th as well, bringing some sort of physical changes into your life. And then we have a new moon in Aries, Gemini as well, bringing a brand new start. The 22nd also sees the solstice. Now, if you're in the southern hemisphere, Australia and New Zealand, it's the winter solstice. It's even more important for you to have time out and just really consider your spiritual reality and your life and how important spirit is in your life. Look at your dreams, look at your meditations, take care of your normal domestic things, and you'll probably get little flashes in the daytime that you can listen to or pay attention to, and that will give you clues about what you're supposed to be doing. If you are in the northern hemisphere, you will be having your summer solstice, where it's the longest day of the year. The winter solstice is the shortest day, so time for rugging up and keeping warm and sleeping. The northern hemisphere is the longest day, so time for getting out and about and doing things and being very active. Okay, it's also time, because the longest day of the sun, it's a great time for thinking and planning and, like I said, being active. On the 27th, Mercury will go into Cancer, bringing a beautiful sort of caring and compassionate tone in your communications. And also I did mention Neptune going retrograde on the 30th, so this could be time for Again, a lot of internal focus, looking at your spiritual life, doing some arts, craft, being, looking after your domestic things, and just going with the flow, the ebb and flow of life all around you. So that sums up the month. Please do check your moon sign and also your ascendant or rising sign as well. So thanks again for watching, and I hope you find these horoscopes really helpful given all of the transformation that is going on. If you are new, subscribe and be alive, and hit that notification bell as well. Have a very insightful month. I'm sure it's going to be a real eye-opener for a lot of people. Thanks, and bye for now. Hello and welcome everybody, it's Rose Smith here from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks for joining me for the awesome Aries June 2023 horoscope. Okay, let's go to the board and have a look. First I'm going to draw 2 tarot cards to see what's in store as themes for you for the month. Okay, that one's around the wrong way, so is that one. Alrighty, closing my eyes, what do I see? Okay, I've got a straight path in front of me, and right in front of me there's a bowl of food. So this is very nurturing, so you might find nurturing people trying to help you out in some way. Okay, so the card that comes up is the Knight of Wands. This is a time for moving forward in the world, but being a little bit cautious. Don't go too quickly. You might even be inspired to go quickly because there's a lot of inspirational energy here, but a few things that you need to learn as well. So maybe go slowly, sure and steady wins the race, that sort of thing. There could be some travel involved if you decide you want to go anywhere. Just do your crossing of T's and dotting of I's and so forth. However, this is sometimes a young person as well around you. It does denote a lot of potential in your plans and some sort of belief in the unknown, that it's going to work out okay. Could also be a change in residence. You might be thinking of moving at some stage, but it's just an idea at the moment. It's not anything physical, perhaps. Alrighty, so that's the first fortnight, or the first half of the month if you like. Now the second half of the month, closing my eyes now, what do I see for you, awesome Aries? Okay, yes, there is a change in direction. I'm driving along in a car here and turning to the right, so a little bit of logic is required. It's like you're on your general path in life. Everything is going along as it should. However, a dash more analytical energy is required in June. The card that comes out is the Sun. This is fabulous. It denotes stability. It denotes a new energy of insight coming in. You could even be feeling mildly contented or perhaps even happy. The Sun provides you with some sort of safety net, a feeling of confidence, a feeling like you're getting stuff done. Achievement is yours. It's a major arcana card. It's fairly important. You might set yourself up at the beginning of the month for an outcome or a resolution to a problem in the second half of the month, which works out in your favour. Okay, so let's make this a bit bigger so we can see what's going on with your horoscope and bear these 2 cards in mind. Okay, so the first thing to note is that we do have a full moon in Sagittarius up here in your 9th house, which is all about expanding your horizons, and it's about study, it's about your spirituality. Perhaps there is travel involved, as indicated by this card here. Usually this travel would be more, a longer distance, perhaps over water. You could have more to do with people from other countries, or perhaps the exotic or the unusual is more appealing now. Even if you can't get away for a break, maybe go to different places, different restaurants, get out and about a little bit more than you normally would. The full moon here gives you a bit of a shake-up. and clears out the cobwebs. And maybe you've been feeling in a bit of a rut, and it's like saying get out of this and get onto something that's more exciting in life. You need a bit more tweaking of your path, so to speak. The next point, that's on the 4th, and then on the 6th we have Venus joining Mars in Leo down here in your 5th house of creativity. It's also the world of the child, having more to do with children, or perhaps your inner child, and out of this comes some creativity or perhaps even romance. And romance is probably quite on the cards because Venus going into the 5th house, the house of romance, with Mars suggests, Venus and Mars does suggest romance, and it's like the opposites attract. So you could meet somebody or come across somebody that you're quite attracted to. So this will be conjunct. So it goes in on the 6th, but it's actually going to, maybe the day before the 6th. So maybe from the 5th to, for a week or something like that, you could come across somebody special. But at the very least, your creativity is stirred, and there's more to do with children, or perhaps play is called for, getting some more playfulness into your life. On the 12th, Mercury also changes signs here into Gemini, which is your 3rd house. This is going to bring a ton of brilliant ideas and a ton of communications. And there is a bit happening here in your 3rd house. So local trips or trips in your area are also indicated. Conversations or contacts with distant relatives or perhaps siblings could happen, or maybe some study where you're studying on your own or off your own bat. It may not be formalised study, so to speak, okay, but brilliant ideas and communications coming your way. On the 12th, Pluto goes back into Capricorn here in your house of career and status, and because it's retrograde, it went retrograde last month in May. I think it was the 1st of May. And this suggests that things are going to be internalised, and you might become aware that there's an ending around your career or what you do with your public life, or perhaps a parent. There's some sort of ending of a cycle so that a new cycle can be reborn. And it's like the rising of the phoenix again. Perhaps you'll go back to an old career that you used to have, or there's elements of an old career that you used to have. With authority figures, this could be also involved, and you might find that there's a change in a relationship with an authority figure, such as a parent. Traditionally, it was the mother that was associated with the 10th house, but nowadays it's either parent. Then we have Saturn going retrograde on the 17th of the month, and it's here in your 12th house. And you also have Neptune going retrograde as well, and I just can't see the date of that, which is great because I didn't write it down, did I? I think it's the 24th, but I can't read my chook scroll here. No, so I can't tell you the date, I'm sorry. So, but these two going retrograde in the 12th house, so that might be interesting. Neptune's very spiritual, and in your 12th house, it's stirring things up. So do watch your dreams, and there could be dreams about authority figures or being restricted with Saturn involved, but it's going to bring about a very spiritual tone in your life. So that is exciting. New moon on the 18th is also in Gemini here, bringing a new start to your communications and your fresh ideas. It's a great time for promoting any businesses or doing any marketing as well on the new moon. The 22nd sees the sun going into watery Cancer here, bringing a lot of brightness. Here it is here, the sun bringing a lot of brightness to your home and family. So you may be feeling particularly comfortable at home, and your family, it's like a general sense of contentment with your family. And if there has been some issues there with family members, they may resolve entirely, or at least they're minimised to some extent with the sun's healing rays. And then we have Mercury also joining on the 27th of the month in the home area. So there's probably going to be communications about any issues that you may have had, and again a lot of brilliant ideas, and things could happen quite quickly. Oh, here we are. I have written it down. Neptune is going retrograde on the 30th of the month, so it's the last day up here. So, you know, when I talk about planets and I give dates, it's never think of it as being like a switch that sort of cuts in and out. It's more a general rolling kind of energy, more like a wave. So Neptune is there, but it's slowing down, and then it stops, stands stationary, and then it reverses its path. Okay, and so it's more gradual than that. So you could get a lot of spiritual messages this month. Awesome, Aries. All right, so that's it for your horoscope. Don't forget to check out your moon and your ascendant sign as well. Have a wonderful month, everyone. Thank you and bye for now. Hello and welcome everybody. It's Rose Smith here from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Welcome to your June 2023 Taurus horoscope. Okay, let's go to the board now and see what's in store for us. Okay, here's your horoscope, and I'll pick 2 cards as theme cards for the month for you first. So we're doing the first half of the month right now, card number 1. There's a lot of flowers here on the left side, yellow, green, and sort of mauves and blues. So there's some brightness in your life here. Flowers sometimes indicate happiness. The green is definitely growth, and they're growing very well. And they're down the left side of your life. So I feel this is like the feminine side, when you're relaxing, time to relax, and it brings you contentment. And maybe you even think about how grateful you can be for whatever you have. Okay, the card that comes up is the Lover's card. Sometimes this isn't perfect, but it does mean that things are coming together, opposites attract, and that you're integrating the energy, with whether that's within or you see it in another person. Sometimes it's a bit push me, pull you, you're attracted and then you're repulsed, or something happens, there's commitment and then there's no commitment, and back and forth like that. However, angels watch over you and spirit is aware of everything that is happening, and so it's all happening as it should be. There's a snake down here indicating transformation. It's a major arcana. It's pretty important. This is a great symbol of union, coming together, things coming together in your life. Okay, you're becoming more powerful, more complete, more whole as a result. That's the first half of the month. And the second half of the month, I'll just close my eyes. What do I see? Okay, you're going down a path and then there's like just a big piece of wood just put in front of the path. So some sort of obstacle. You're going in a certain direction and then you find, oh gosh, I can't move forward on this point. You have to find a new way to deal with it. I do see eventual success because there's a bottle of champagne here and it's being poured. So, you know, that means you'll overcome any difficulty. Concrete seems important. Concrete, maybe the barrier is made of concrete. It looks like it's wood though, but concrete, I just don't know. Something hard and fast though goes with that. The road is concrete, that's true. The road is, so it's a good road that you're on, a good path, but just something is a hindrance. You'll find a way. Okay, let's see what card we get. I'll go for that one underneath. It's the King of Pentacles, so it could be to do with your finances. When we check here, we do have a lot happening in your first house of the self, but also here in your personal finances. So I would say to you right from the get-go, be cautious with how you spend your money. Keep some money for a rainy day. The vibe I'm sort of getting on it is it's more that something doesn't work, and so yeah, it just gets all mucked up. So yeah, keep some money aside. I would be putting off expenditure if possible. Don't buy anything major during the month of June, okay? But having said that, the King of Pentacles does come in to help you. This is someone who is very astute with business and very good with money, and it could be part of yourself that is wisely giving you counsel about how to spend your money. He's got aubergine on here, he's wearing, so this is the third eye. So it's almost like your intuition is telling you to be cautious, okay? There's some grapes here, and so that sort of indicates enjoy the harvest of what you've worked for. Maybe don't go overboard with the spending though. Okay, so King of Pentacles. Alrighty, so let's make this a bit bigger so you can see your horoscope more easily. And the first thing to note is we do have 3 T-squares here. This is a lot to handle. Basically, we've got the T-square between Pluto, Jupiter, and Mars. Okay, so it's something to do with challenges around your career, your work, or an authority figure, your family life, and what you actually want. Then we've got a T-square between Pluto, your South Node, and also Venus. The South Node is more like your tradition, your history, where you've come from, how you've been doing things around relationships, and it's being challenged. So this energy around relationships is being challenged, as indicated by the Lovers card here, push me, pull you, okay? Some sort of change in a significant relationship that you'll need to deal with. And Venus, of course, here it's to do with communications, loving, kind, courteous, polite communications. And then we've got the third T-square, which is Jupiter, the Moon, and also Venus. Now, this one only lasts a few days right at the beginning of the month. It probably lasts maybe 2 days, so don't be too concerned. But it's still, 3 T-squares. So I would say the beginning of the month, try not to do extra things that will stress you out, because you need a bit more free time to yourself, and you need gaps between doing things to deal with unlikely events that might just happen, or stressful events, okay? So don't load yourself up with lots of things thinking, oh, I'll go here, I'll go there, and da-da-da. Take it easy this month if you can, because there's a lot of internal things going on. And especially here, we have to do with your groups and associations. We have Neptune and Saturn also going retrograde, and Pluto went retrograde last month. So this indicates that things with your associations or your friends could go a bit quieter, and perhaps you internalize the energy more, instead of, like normally you'd be going out, maybe intuitively, to stay home and to do less, and things just could go a little bit quieter in that regard. On the 4th, there is a full moon here in Sagittarius, shaking things up to do with shared resources with another person or a company, or maybe even the government. So again, do be cautious about money here with the full moon. Sometimes this is to do with intimacy with another person as well, so take that on board. We do have on the 6th Venus joining Mars in Leo here. This is very significant because it is associated, Venus and Mars together is obviously male and female in some sort of relationship. This is around the home and family, so it could be a partner or a husband or a wife, and it's like they're going to be conjunct, so the energy is integrating or coming together again. That is indicated by this first card, the Lovers card that I talked about. Okay, so opposites are joining together in your home and family to bring wholeness. So this is actually a fabulous thing. Opposites attract. On the 12th, Mercury goes into Gemini here, bringing a lot of communications about your money, and it's also good ideas about your money and how you should spend it. And Mercury will be conjunct the Sun quite soon, and that'll give you some sort of degree, feels like a relief actually. You can take a breather, okay? On the 12th, Pluto goes back into Capricorn here, and it went retrograde. I think it was the 1st of May. It actually started to go retrograde, but it's actually in Capricorn on the 12th. And this brings like the end of a cycle, but the beginning of a new cycle around how you expand your life. Maybe it's something to do with travel or study, or perhaps the people that you deal with. If you have friends in foreign countries or people you know in other countries, it could go a little bit quieter as far as communications go. On the 17th, Saturn is retrograde, and on the 30th here, Neptune goes retrograde. Again, I mentioned that before, about your friends and groups and associations going quieter. Then we have a new moon in Gemini here, bringing a fresh start to your finances, your possessions, or the things that you value in life. So this is a really good sign. There might be some sort of money issue, and then there's some sort of resolution or brilliant idea around how you can resolve that. On the 22nd, the Sun goes into Cancer here and is joined by Mercury on the 27th, bringing a lot of communications and happiness around your daily, short trips, perhaps relatives that you've had some distance between you in some way, either physical or psychological distance. There could be more communications with distant family. You may also be studying, which might also bring some sort of contentment into your mind as well. Okay, so that's it. Terrific, Taurus. I hope this is useful for you. Thanks so much for watching today, and don't forget to check out your ascendant and your moon signs as well. Have a wonderful month, everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Hello and welcome everybody, it's Rose Smith here from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks for joining me today for Gorgeous Gemini June 2023 horoscope. Okay, so let's go to the board now, and we're going to draw 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you, and we'll see what we get. Okay, I'm closing my eyes now. Doors opening up in front of me. Okay, there's a safe on the other side of the door. Something that has been locked up for a while is going to be released. Okay, there's an energy inside you that has been kept safe in a safe, but you can't really use it if it's in a safe, can you? So it might be time to consider what parts of yourself are you actually holding down. Okay. I get this sense of gold. There's, with whatever this energy is, there's gold as well. So this could bring great value to your life if you can release whatever it is that is kept down. The card that comes up is the 8 of Wands, bringing you brilliant motivational ideas. The energy for these ideas was always there inside you, but you just couldn't access it. So maybe that's what's been kept down, and it's going to be released. So brilliant ideas coming into your head. Whatever you do, write them down or record them, because they're so fast that they could just be gone in a second. So you want to write them down so that you can act upon them at your leisure. Okay, the second half of the month for gorgeous Geminis. What do I see? Okay, again, a door opening up here, but there's like a bolt at the bottom of the door. So I feel like you've been trying to open this door for a long time, but because it was bolted at the bottom with this long sort of golden bolt, if you like, which is a bit weird to have a golden bolt, but that's what I see, you couldn't access. So this is a continuation of what happened in the beginning of the month. And this is interesting. This card just came up, the 8 of Swords. It is about being trapped. And it is about realizing the ways that if you have been trapped. And so now, once you realize that, you'll be able to free yourself. So even though this is not a great card in terms of, what it looks like, it is a great card because you start to realize how you've been bound by authority figures or the dictates of authorities. So you'll be able to free yourself when you realise it's not what you thought it was and how you've been kept trapped by the situation. So I actually feel a bit excited for you. I know it sounds really weird with the 8 of Swords to feel excited, but I do. And I think also it's something to do with your thinking. Maybe a certain situation you thought was right for you, but it's just ended up ensnaring you in some way. Okay, so let's see. I'll just make this a little bit bigger, and we're going to have a look at your horoscope, and then we're going to see how that plays in with the cards. The first thing to note is that we've got 2 T-squares here, Jupiter, Pluto, and the Moon. And this is at the 1st of June, so it's only going to be for probably 2 days or so. The Moon travels very fast, so this T-square here is going to dissolve as the Moon moves forward. and it's 28 degrees Libra here in your house of creativity, romance, and the world of the child. So it could be something to do with romance, perhaps, and especially that it's conjunct the South Node. So this is more about your history and the way that you used to do things, but you're being called away from that now. You're being called towards your future, and that will be that you do things in a more spiritual way. And so this moon energy, it's only going to last, this T-square, a very short time. Okay, and there's a lot of subconscious sort of energy going on down here. You've got all of these planets going on, North Node, Jupiter, Mercury, and Uranus in your subconscious. So there's a big change in your spirituality this month, gorgeous Geminis. Now the other T-square is Pluto, Jupiter, and Mars. And so Pluto here in Aquarius, it could be that you had some big ideas about something, and perhaps they're going through some sort of change, so that you realise, no, well, it's not going to work out like I thought it was going to work out, but it could work out in a different way, because Pluto is also associated with transformation and even rebirth, the rebirth of the phoenix rising from the ashes. Jupiter there bringing a ton of extra energy and focus into your spiritual life, and Mars there giving you a lot of ambition and drive around your communications and the things that you learn and study. Okay, the other thing to note is that we have Neptune and Saturn retrograde, and Pluto went retrograde last month, in fact. Okay, so with Saturn and where are we? With Saturn and Neptune. I know it's right in front of my face. Here we are, it's up here. In your 10th house, things could go quieter around your career. When a planet goes retrograde, it's often, the energy is often internalized. So you're sort of looking at it and studying it from within, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's got any sort of physical consequence as such. Saturn is retrograde, your MC, which is your direction in life. So there is quite a fair bit going on here as well, but it's internalized. So you continue doing what you're doing most probably in the physical world while you're thinking up all of the changes that are going to happen. On the 4th, the full moon is here in your 7th house in Sagittarius, bringing a shake-up to your committed or your important relationships, okay, getting you to examine what's going on with them. On the 6th, Venus joins Mars in Leo here in your communications and study, or maybe even to do with siblings or distant family members. There could be some communications going on. But Venus and Mars together are quite good, and they bring some sort of union of the opposites. So you might find if you know somebody distant, a distant family member, that you hear from them again, or there's some sort of reconnection going on there. It's also good if you're studying, or it's great for marketing and communications too. On the 12th, Mercury goes into Gemini here. And so this is about getting your message out into the world, and you become more effective at doing this because Mercury's been here in your 12th house, your divine subconscious, if you like, and now it's burst out into the world so you can get your ideas out there. On the 12th also, Pluto goes back into Capricorn here, bringing some sort of, and it is retrograde already from last month, so it brings some sort of internal focus around intimacy, or perhaps the things that you share with others. It could even be inheritances or deaths, some sort of legalities, taxes, superannuation, some energy that you share with somebody else. Then we have on the 18th a new moon in your sign, and this brings a fresh start, a whole lot of new energy coming in for how you approach the world. Even your body, you could be feeling more energetic, which is good news. On the 22nd, the sun goes into watery Cancer here, bringing some sort of insight and awareness around your money, your possessions, or the things you value in life. and it's joined by Mercury on the 27th, bringing more communications and ideas around your finances or your values as well. These two together get a lot done. So that's it, everyone. I hope, gorgeous Geminis, this is a fabulous month for you. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget, check out your moon and rising sign on this video as well. Have a wonderful month. I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now. Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com, and I've got your June Cancer horoscope, and a very happy birthday to all Cancerians as well at the end of the month. Okay, let's go to the board now and have a look what's in store for you in June. All right, first thing I'm going to do is draw 2 tarot cards. These are your theme cards for the month, and I'm closing my eyes now. It's very light in here. I can see some white stairs just to the right side, just marginally right of me, which suggests just a little bit more planning or analytical thought as you take action steps towards your goals, okay? But the fact that there's so much light in here means you probably have a pretty good idea about what you're doing. There's a lot of insight and awareness. I also get the word confidence as I'm speaking, so you can move forward with confidence. Okay, the card that comes up is the 6 of Pentacles. This relates to your finances. You do have some activity going on here to do with finances. Venus going in to your finance zone later, and Mars is there too, which is fabulous, but I'll talk more about that in a moment when we come to your horoscope. You will be dealing with money, and you'll be deciding who gets paid, how much they get paid, all the terms and conditions around the payment and that sort of thing. You could have other people coming to you asking for money, particularly children or just people that you know. So it is time to put some boundaries, attach some boundaries to your payments, okay? So if you are going to give your children, especially adult children, money, put some boundaries around it. Otherwise, it's like a stray cat, and once you feed a stray cat, then they'll always come back. Okay, so, but this is generally fairly positive because it shows you as being the one that has the power or the one in control. Okay, 6 of Pentacles. Okay, and now I'm going to pick a second card for the month. You might also, just on this point too, you might also be giving some money to charity as well. All right, second card. Closing my eyes. What do I see? It's very domestic. I'm in a kitchen. There's a lot of plates, and in the cupboards, getting the plates out and that sort of thing. Feeding people. Okay, so this doesn't mean just physically feeding people, but it means spiritually feeding people as well. You could be imparting your knowledge or your wisdom, helping other people in some way in the second half of June. The card that comes up is the 2 of Swords. Okay, so this is about making a decision. Just to bear in mind that we all carry baggage from the past, and there's some sort of reflection of the past going on here, some sort of memories or baggage even. So you can make a fresh decision. You're not in exactly the same place as you were then. However, do remember the lessons of the past so that you don't go on and make the same mistakes. But decisions will be made, and they probably involve another person because it's a 2, and 2, you know, 2s in numerology like to be associated with other people. So not an overly important decision that needs to be made, but one that will probably conform to the dictates of authority. Okay, so that's the second card. All right, let's make this bigger for you. Bear those in mind, those 2 cards, because they'll probably come up in your horoscope in some way. Okay, so first thing to note is there's 3 T-squares here, which is pretty full on. You've got this one here between the moon, Pluto and Jupiter. Because it's the moon, this is only for the first day or 2 of June. The moon moves really quickly, so it's at 29 degrees 17 minutes on the 1st of June, so it's in Libra. and it's in your house of home and family. And so it just says activity there. It's not a full moon at that point. It's building to a full moon. So there could be some sort of situations where you need to be diplomatic. But this is for the 1st of June, but I would say for maybe a day before that. So, 30th of May until, say, the 2nd of June. You'll have this T-square. So this is a lot of sort of challenges. 3 T-squares is a lot to deal with between your family and shared resources around your family, and also growing your associations, your groups and your friendships. They're all in conflict. I was going to say tension, but it's more than tension. It's conflictual. So, you might have things you have to do at home and you have to put your friends off or something like that. Or shared resources could be family resources you have to attend to. The next one is Pluto, Jupiter and Venus. Venus loves peace. It's not, it's Mars. Mars, okay? It could be to do, this involves finances again and the family unit. And again, it's to do with your friends, groups and associates, or perhaps even your hopes and dreams. Mars is very ambitious with money. Remember, here you are here doling out the money. You could have kids asking you for money again. And that's for a bit longer than a few days, okay? Then we have the 3rd T-square. So we have that one, and then we have this one. Where are we? We have that one, we have that one, and we have that one. So this one is Moon, Jupiter and Pluto. We've talked about that one. We've talked about Pluto, Jupiter and Mars, and that one. Oh, and then we've got Mars, Moon and Pluto. Okay, this bottom one here. Okay, so same sort of thing. This is probably the 30th of May and the 1st of June, but say the 2nd of June. And again, it's the same sort of thing. So, yeah, it could be some family arguments or something like that. So just watch for that. Okay, the other thing to note is that Neptune, Saturn and Pluto are all retrograde. Pluto went retrograde 1st of May, I think it was, and the other 2 are going retrograde this month, which means that's a lot to, internalise. You'll probably be feeling not really like socializing so much, or you become more internally focused. I'll come to those in a minute. On the 4th, you've got the full moon in Sagittarius here, shaking things up in your normal everyday life, your habits, your routine, perhaps your work, particularly if you have paid work, and also to do with your health. It's not a time to take any risks or go into areas where there's large crowds, for example. So just watch your stress levels and your health. On the 6th, Venus joins Mars here, I mentioned before, and this brings a lovely kind of integration of energies between the male and the female. Okay, so you're getting this balance quite good, especially if you're on your own and you don't have a male partner or a partner with male energy. It's like you're getting the hang of it. And so when you need to be logical and analytical, you can be. And so there will be some call for that. But this gives you more power, especially around your money. Think of this card here. Then we have, and don't forget, opposites attract too. So you might find yourself getting involved with situations where you need to spend some money, but you've thought it all through and it could work out. Then we have on the 12th, Mercury going into Gemini and Pluto going back into earthy Capricorn. So Mercury moves into your 12th house, communications become quieter and you're more internally focused. And with Pluto here moving back into Capricorn in your 7th house, it brings a lot of transformation around any significant partnerships, around legalities, or even people that you don't get on with. There's something comes up about that, but you might be thinking more about it than any physical reality. It might be very much inner because Pluto is retrograde. And then on the 18th, the new moon is in air sign Gemini here, bringing a brand new start to dreams, your spiritual pursuits, and maybe even some charity or helping people that are less fortunate. And unfortunately, those numbers seem to be growing these days. There's lots of people that are really struggling at the moment. Then we have on the 22nd, the sun going into watery Cancer here, and happy birthday to all early Cancerians, bringing the spotlight on you. You're the center of the stage. And this is bringing some insight and awareness as to how you deal with the world, how you approach the world, getting your message out there into the world and shining. We have finally on the 27th, Mercury also moving in to your sign. Again, about messages. You could have some brilliant ideas. This could affect you quite strongly, and you get it out there, and it's like getting more energy to get cracking on things. And on the 30th, Neptune is retrograde as well, and Neptune is here in your 9th house, so bringing a spiritual vibe within. You could be thinking about studying or traveling or having more to do with exotic locations or exotic people. It might not be the time to do anything about it because Saturn's there as well, retrograde, but you could be sort of planning or strategizing about doing it at a later date. Alrighty, so that's it, Cancerians. I hope this is helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, check out your moon and your rising sign as well. Have a fabulous month. Thanks and bye for now. Hello and welcome everybody. It's Rose Smith here from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks so much for joining me for the lovely Leo June 2023 horoscope. Well, fair bit happening for everybody in June. Let's go to the board now and see what's happening for you. First, I'm going to cast or draw 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you. Closing my eyes, what do I see for Leo? Oh, it's a little bit of confusion. The things seem to be changing quickly in spirit. What I'm seeing is a grey sky with clouds, but they're moving so fast. So it's almost like there's so much change going on underneath, you don't know where you're going to end up. Let's have a look and see what we get. The card that comes out in the stars, is the star. It's quite favourable, sending your hopes and dreams out to the universe. And you'll see she's alone here on the shoreline. So she has, 1 foot in the shore and 1 foot in the ocean. So being in contact with what is going on in the subconscious, but also being practical and grounded and down to earth as well, which is super important, okay? Because it's very easy to go floating off and you won't achieve what you want to achieve. You won't get those things done. But if you can keep at least 1 foot in the earth on the shoreline here, you'll be fine. This is typically like returning to your early 20s perhaps, or maybe 19, 20, 21, 22 type of age. And it's like there's a lot of potential. At the moment, you have to decide which way you want your life to go. And maybe you're not clear about that yet, but give yourself time, it will come clear. But there's a lot of potential. It's like being a young woman or a young man again, okay, in some way. Changes. Maybe a sort of a rebirth coming, but let's have a look. I'll put a question mark around that last comment. Let's have a look and let's see what we see for the second half of June for you, lovely Leo. Okay, something about wardrobe doors. Are you cleaning out your closet perhaps, or buying new clothes, looking for a new identity? There is a little bit of activity here in your first house. So some purchases around clothing, shoes, hair, makeup might be on the cards. Okay, let's see. Okay, the Queen of Wands, feeling more motivated than you have, being in touch with your own instincts. See this wild leopard cat here, or a Bengal cat at your feet, listening to your intuition, because this is indigo, the colour of the third eye. But this is sort of like a master or a mistress of creativity, but bringing it down to earth and making it solid, making it practical. It's very important. And some sunflowers here, so some happiness coming your way. But with it comes insight and awareness as well. It's like it's not fool's happiness. It's not just positive thinking for positive thinking's sake. It's got real roots that are likely to be long lasting, and this grounding you in practical reality so that you can get stuff done. And the gold around the waist too. Success is likely long term, okay? You could have some sort of idea, project, or some sort of, heart's desire that you want to fulfill, and you're taking steps towards it, and success is quite likely. All right, so let's make this a bit bigger so that we can see, and we'll see how these cards play in to your horoscope. Alrighty, so we've got here 3 T-squares, and this can be, sometimes a lot to deal with. Well, not sometimes, definitely is a lot to deal with. There's a lot of transformation between, here's the first one here, I'll pick Jupiter, Pluto, and also the moon. So this is probably 30th of May, 1st of June, maybe the 2nd of June. It's something about your home, and there's something here. Pluto is also about transformation, to do with significant others, committed relationships, and things like marriages, for example. Pluto rules transformation, but also death and rebirth. Okay, so these might be themes that are going on in your mind. Jupiter in your house of career and also authority and status, and so it could be some expansion around your work, and there's a fair bit going on there. I want to say there's a change in work. Okay, you might make some decisions moving forward. So that's the first T-square. The second T-square involves Mars, Pluto, and again Jupiter. So Mars is about, sorry, that's my phone. Mars is about ambition, around getting your message out into the world, how you approach the world, how you deal with the world, your identity. So you could be feeling renewed energy to be ambitious and to put yourself forward. But all of this is challenging. It's not easy. It doesn't come to you in 5 minutes. And then we have Venus, Moon, and Pluto T-square as well. And Venus is here in your 12th house on the 30th of May and 1st of June. And so it's subconscious. So this beautiful feminine force is more subconscious. So you have to be careful, because Mars is out there in the world. It has to be balanced by Venus, but these two will join soon. So I'll talk about that in a moment. So on the 4th, we have the full moon in Sagittarius here, sparking your creativity, bringing a light, shining a light on romance, creativity, or the world of the child. There could be some sort of shake-up. Maybe you make some decisions in that regard. But Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, so there could be some desire to grow romance, to grow your creativity, or maybe to have more to do with children in some way. Opposites attract, I've written here, because Venus is joining Mars on the 6th here in your sign. So this is going to give you more power, because you're going to have both the male and the feminine coming together to give you more energy around yourself. This will give you independence, basically, and you'll be more clear about who you are. So that's good news. On the 12th, Mercury goes into Gemini, and Pluto also goes back into earthy Capricorn. So Mercury moves into your 11th house. It could be more socializing, more communications with friends and groups, and also to do with your hopes and dreams. You might be telling people about what you want to do. And Pluto back into Capricorn here, that means you're probably, there's a sort of a death around work or health or your daily routine. Your routine is changing, but that's so it can be reborn again in another form. So you might change your work in somehow. So you've got Pluto here in your 6th house to do with work, and you've got all this going up here to do with your career. You might be looking at a new career. Then we have 17th of the 6th, Saturn is retrograde, and Neptune is also retrograde on the 30th of the month here in your 8th house of shared resources. It's time to open your eyes. But with a retrograding planet, you'll be thinking about things. These are very much internalized, and you'll be thinking about the restrictions. You'll be thinking about, spiritual concepts to do with sharing resources, but also to do with sharing intimacy with another person, perhaps. The new moon is in Gemini, Aries Gemini, on the 18th, up here. This is a new start. You could meet some new friends, start socialising more and that sort of thing. Or you could have some new hopes and dreams. On the 22nd, the sun moves into watery Cancer here, bringing insight and awareness around your dreams and your spirituality. And then on the 27th, the Sun is joined by Mercury, which also brings communications from your subconscious, pointing you in the direction what your life mission is, what you're supposed to be doing with your life. If you pay attention to what's going on in your subconscious, you will work it out. So a very transformative month for you, Leo. There is a fair bit of challenge in the transformation. So maybe spend some time alone thinking about all of these things, because it's sitting with those emotions and sitting with your feelings that is going to transform your world. Okay, so that's it. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Don't forget to check out your rising sign and your moon sign as well. Have a fabulous month. I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now. Hello and welcome everybody. It's Rose Smith here from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks for joining me for the Vivacious Virgo June 23 horoscope. Okay, let's skip on over to the board and we will draw the 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you. Here's the horoscope. We'll be coming to that in a moment after I do the cards. Alrighty, so let's see what we come up with. The first card for the first half of the month, something about cheese and fruit. Different pieces of fruit, pears, actually cheese and pear. I'll bet you could make something nice if you could cook. I can't, it's not one of my things. But yeah, there might be something going on about your diet. Are you giving up dairy, or are you thinking about, going to a more fruitarian type diet perhaps? Let's see what the cards say. The card that comes out is the 2 of Wands. Okay, so this indicates that you may have been feeling restricted recently. However, that's changing. There's now a gap here in this stone fence, which means that you can get out of any set boundaries and just, with a minimal amount of effort. So it might have been harder in the past, but now it's becoming easier so that you can free yourself. This is likely to give you a bit of excitement or motivation to do something about your circumstances. And here's the world up here in the shape of a balloon, not a broom. Housework is freeing. No, I've never found housework to be liberation ever. This is a balloon, not a broom. So you might be thinking about travel, and you might be thinking about the world outside, generally speaking. You do have a lot here in your travel house, and even in your local travel house, there's a little bit happening as well. But it looks like there's far more energy for long distance travel, okay? So that could be on your mind. And there's also these baseball bats here, which means you probably mean business. And she's got a stick of sage, so cleaning up her act. Dressed in blue, so it could be something about creativity and communications, expressing yourself in a rather creative way. Alrighty, so let's have a look at the second card for you in June. What do I see? Oh yeah, okay, I actually see the globe, the world. So there was a little thing in my head going when I looked at this about, well, it's not just travel, it can be study, it can be spirituality, it can be growing your life, there's so much. And you've got Mercury conjuncting Uranus, and you've also got the North Node conjuncting Jupiter. Your future, your destiny is calling you forward. And sometimes it's in unexpected ways, or, a feeling of liberation, a feeling of freedom might be around this. Okay, travel might become more important to you. All right, so the second card. Yeah, there's a few mountains here, suggests that it's not easy because there's some challenges to overcome, but that's okay. You can do it. It's the 2 of Swords. Maybe the first challenge is actually making the decision to do it, because there's some reflections here from the past that might be holding you back in some way. But again, I point to this card here that any restrictions that you had previously are becoming easier to handle. So decisions will be made. You will do the logical thing and cut through right to the core of the issue and make a decision which way to go. Okay, so at the very least you're moving from a spiritual basis, but I feel it's even more than that you're physically going to do something about it. There may be somebody who is, some authority figure who is trying to influence you, but you'll see through that. Okay, let's make this bigger so we can have a look at your horoscope now and bear these cards in mind. There are 2 T-squares here. Every sign's got either a combination of T-squares, or from Libra on they've got a Grand Cross. So it is a very transformative month, but more than that, it's a positive month in the sense, even if the transformation is challenging. Lucky for you, you've got 2 T-squares. Some signs have got 3. And so we have the first one here, which is Mars and Pluto and Jupiter. And Jupiter's here in your house of travel that I already spoke about, trying to grow your life. Mars is here in the 12th house. It's not happy there, but soon Mars will move to the 1st house and you'll be full of ambition. So at the moment, you've probably just got stirrings within your subconscious about, what you want to do, and you haven't got the full story yet. And also Pluto here in your 6th house is your routine and your work. If you're doing some sort of paid work, you will need to consider that as well. And then we have a second T-square, which is Jupiter, Pluto and the Moon. This is probably the 30th of May and the 1st of June, just 2 days, say, because the Moon travels very, very quickly. And it could be, again, it's probably involving this travel, study, or some overseas connections, your work, your everyday habits, and maybe even your health. And the Moon here in your communication zone. So that will dissolve pretty quickly after the 2nd of the month. Okay, on the 4th of the month, the full moon is in Sagittarius here, giving things a shake-up in your house of home and family. Could be a little bit turbulent. On the 6th of the month, Venus joins Mars in Leo here. This is great for the sense of it brings balance to Mars. Mars, as I said, isn't happy in the 12th house, but Venus and Mars go good together. It's like the male and the female, they complement each other. And having Mars here can be very frustrating because you've got the energy you want to get on and you just feel something's holding you back. But Venus will smooth the way. It won't be for long, and then Mars will be coming in, and Venus as well, into your sign soon, and that will really improve things, and you'll be able to burst out into the world in a blaze of light. On the 12th of June, and we have 2 things happening: Mercury going into Gemini and Pluto going back into earthy Capricorn. So Mercury is up here going into your house of career, lots of communications and bright, brilliant ideas. Sometimes this is also to do with an authority figure or a parent, particularly the mother. So, there's a lot happening in your career zone this month. Then with Pluto over here, it will be going back into your 5th house of creativity and also romance and living closer to the world of the child, leisure and pleasure, that sort of thing. And so these could be reborn like a phoenix rising from the ashes in some respect. So there's a lot of transformation around those areas: romance, creativity, leisure and pleasure, and they could be reborn again in some way. On the 17th, Saturn is retrograde along with Neptune, which will be going retrograde on the 30th of the month, and this is in your house of committed relationships. So restrictions and things like that, any restrictions you may have felt, you might feel now that they're lessening. So that sort of fits in with this card up here, the 2 of Wands. They might be still there to a small extent, but it's much easier to deal with the restrictions here in important relationships. Sometimes it's legalities and sometimes it's what's called the House of Open Enemies, which just means people that you don't get on with. Then we have the new moon in Gemini up here, bringing a fresh start, new beginnings to your career zone. You might be thinking about getting a new job, or perhaps there's a fresh start to a relationship with somebody who is in a sort of position of authority. The sun goes into watery Cancer on the 22nd here, bringing brightness and insight and happiness around your friends, groups and associates, and also hopes and dreams. And Mercury will also be wandering in here as well on the 29th 7th of the month, bringing a lot of brilliant ideas and communications. You could be socialising and having a great time. All right, so that's it, Vivacious Virgo. Thank you so much for watching this, and don't forget to check out your moon and your ascendant sign or your rising sign as well. Have a fabulous month. I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now. Hello, and thanks for joining me, lovely Librans, for your Libra June 2023 horoscope. Okay, let's go to the board now and see what your horoscope has to say, and also I'll pick 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you. Okay, so here we go. So the first half of the month, I'm closing my eyes now. What do I see? Doors opening. It's a bit dark. There's a certain uncertainty around where your life is going, perhaps, or situations around you. But I feel like you're going down this tunnel anyway. You're opening this door and you're going down this even though you don't know where it's going to end up. So let's get a bit more of clarification around that. The card that comes up is the 3 of Wands. It could be a time of socializing with people that are quite different to you in some way, but it's sort of inspiring or creative nonetheless. There's a certain spiritual strength here which helps you to contemplate whatever it is that lies ahead. You could receive help from other people. You could be working on a project or something together where you're going to put your combined energies together to get a successful result. But a lot of passion and creativity around this in the beginning of the month. I get the word resolution. You could be trying to resolve something with other people who are helping you. Okay, so that's the first one. The second half of the month for you, lovely Libra, there's a ladder here. It's sort of going up, but it's on a diagonal. So there's some effort required to climb, but it's not as hard as what it would have been or what it could have been if it were vertical, if that makes sense. So putting some effort into ascending in consciousness. The weird thing about it is this ladder is floating in mid-air. So you need to be a little bit cautious here because there's a lack of grounding. You need to get your feet on the ground and be quite logical and analytical about a situation because you're in the mental realms here, not really grounded in practical reality. And that can help you to see alternative scenarios, but the downside is, pulling those off in the physical world, making it real. That's what you've got to practice. The card that comes up is the Knight of Wands, another Wands card. So inspiring. This is often like a young person's energy. Maybe there's a situation that you don't have a lot of experience with, or you maybe just have a little bit of experience, but growth does come from it. And it's basically saying don't rush, don't rush into things. And it's like there's an unknown situation, but you're going to go out into the world and you're going to find out about it anyway. So for some people, this can indicate travel or a change in residence as well. Go slowly, don't rush. But it's positive. It can be quite a positive card. So you're going out into the world, but you're not sure where it's going to end up. Okay, so they're your 2 cards. Now let's make this a bit bigger. The first thing that you will notice, of course, is the Grand Cross there in the middle. This is a very challenging aspect. I'm not going to sort of gild the lily here or tell little fibs or anything. It's about transformation that's probably being forced on you, actually. This is probably not of your doing. You don't want a situation like this, whatever it is. However, I do see clouds with silver linings. I can see the silver linings and the sun shining through. It's not all darkness and doom. It's going to go in a completely unknown path, and it might end up better than you think. In fact, it probably involves your money because we have the moon conjunct the south node here in your 2nd house of personal finances. So there could be some concern about your possessions, your money, or the things that you value. And opposite here in the 8th house, we have Jupiter conjunct the north node. So Jupiter conjunct the North Node wants your destiny, your future to expand, especially in relationship to partnerships, agreements with other people or companies or businesses. And it's like shared resources here. So these two are sort of in opposition, so to speak. That's in Taurus. So again, it's about being earthed, bringing it down to earth and making it real. We have Mars over here in Leo concerning your friends, groups and associates, also your hopes and dreams. This gives you a lot of ambition to make the most of your relationships and gives you a lot of energy and drive, but that is opposed by Pluto in Aquarius here in your 5th house of creativity, and you might find that your inner child is mucking up. The inner child doesn't like the change that is happening, and so it's like Pluto can represent death, the ending of a cycle, the ending of some sort of arrangement that you've had involving your creativity or perhaps even romance, okay? Pluto does bring great transformation so that it can be, the situation can be born again, like the phoenix rising from the ashes. So there's like a new start that comes following the ending of the cycle, but there's no getting around it. It is transformational and challenging because some area of your life is about to change in June. The other thing to note is that Saturn, Neptune and Pluto are all retrograde, and I'll talk more about those as we go along. Okay, so on the 4th, the full moon is in Sagittarius here, bringing a shake-up to your communications, perhaps to your study, or distant family members, siblings, people that are distant in some way. So you could be feeling a bit emotional about that. On the 6th, Venus joins Mars up here and goes into your 11th house. So Venus and Mars will be conjunct. This is really good news as far as your associates and your hopes and dreams is concerned. It's like it's coming together. Whatever cycle is finishing, it's like there's a way forward out of that and things are coming together. Maybe you meet new partners, new friends, your hopes and dreams change in a positive way. And it's in Leo, so it's about you shining on stage. You being the one, you may become more independent. Perhaps it's the end of a partnership or a friendship or something like, or an association, and you're the one that shines like the sun. So that's what comes out of it. Opposites attract. You could meet somebody wonderful, in fact. On the 12th, Mercury goes into Gemini up here, and this is about expanding your life and your horizons, maybe to do with study. There's a lot more communications around studying, around your spirituality, or perhaps you're thinking about travelling, but looking at different ways to enhance your life. On the 12th also, Pluto goes back into Capricorn, so it went retrograde, I think it was the 1st of May, and then it will cross across into Capricorn on the 12th. And so this cycle of endings and new beginnings then is touching something around your home and perhaps your family, but it's more likely to be internalized. So there might be no physical changes whatsoever in your family, but you're feeling something within. Maybe you're having some memories back into the past. Maybe it's your ancestors you're in communication with or something like that. The 17th sees Saturn go retrograde here, and the 30th sees Neptune go retrograde here, both in your 6th house of everyday work. This can bring a lot of spirituality, and even though the energies of these planets are internalized, spirituality is. So Neptune looks after spirituality, and here in your 6th house, your everyday life, making spirit real in your everyday life. So it's a really good sort of energy. If you feel any limitations around your everyday life or your work, maybe put some structure in. Maybe you haven't had too much structure, so put some times and say, I'm only available these times. And it's hard when it's your own business because you just have to deal with stuff, I know. But if you're working for somebody else, you can definitely put boundaries there. On the 18th, the new moon is in Gemini as well, bringing a fresh start to help you broaden your horizons. You might be thinking about studying. You might discover some new aspects of spirituality that you didn't know about before. There's a fair bit going on in this house actually too. And then we have the sun on the 22nd going into watery Cancer here in your career zone. And this is likely to bring a lot of insight and awareness, maybe even some happiness about your career. Things might have been looking a bit uncomfortable as far as career or dealing with a parent or perhaps your status. It mightn't have been ideal, but now things are changing, so they're actually looking better. You've got a handle on things, you've got things sort of organised, and then Mercury comes in on the 27th, bringing fresh communications and ideas as well to bolster all of that. Okay, so a challenging month, but it's more at the beginning of the month, and then as the month proceeds, you get it organised and you're off and running again, So don't worry, because I know when all of these things are going on internally, it could bring some sort of worry into your mind. Don't worry about it, because you're going to sort it, whatever the changes are, and you'll find the silver lining. It'll actually end up better for you and you'll be more independent. Okay, so thanks so much for watching. Don't forget, check out your moon sign and also your rising or ascendant sign. Have a great month. Bye for now. Hello and welcome, sensational Scorpio. Thanks so much for watching your June 23 horoscope. Okay, let's go to the board now and see what's in store for you. I'm going to draw 2 tarot cards firstly and have a little vision. What do I see for Scorpio? Okay, something is dead, but it's not buried. I can see a shovel going into the earth here, and it also means planting seeds. So it's like finishing those last few tendrils of something from the past and chopping them off and burying them, and they're done. And then planting all these little seedlings. So these are for your future. So it's about nurturing them so you can have the future that you want. Let's see what cards we get. The first half of the month, the first card, okay, it comes out is the Justice card. Justice will be done. This is a major arcana. This is fairly important regarding a possible life-changing event. Here is Justice weighing up the evidence in front of her. She's going to use the sword of cognition, the ability to think and cut through right to the core of the issue and chop something off. She's listening to her intuition, this owl on her shoulder, which is telling her what it is that she needs to leave behind. Remember the vision? Burying it. It's already dead. Just bury it and be done with it so that you can walk forward. Keep your feet flat on the ground and be practical, okay? But energy, even if you don't have all of the facts, because there's some darkness here and the future is unknown in some respects at least, there is energy for change, energy for activity, and so you'll go through this process of working it out in your mind, listening to your intuition, chopping it off so that you can move forward, okay? Major life event. Okay, so that's good news. Now let's have a look and see for the second half of the month. A tambourine, a band playing, walking down the street. It's very 1960s flower power type stuff that I'm looking at here. There's a sort of sense of happiness. If you're older, like post 60, you'll probably remember the 60s very well, and you'll know there was a spirit of love and kindness then that doesn't seem to exist much today, unfortunately. So it's almost like getting in contact with that spirit. You may also hear from people from the past that you knew in those days too. That just pops into my head. The card that comes up is the Lovers card, okay? These people that come back to you in some way, it could be to finish unfinished business. So even if you were friends with somebody, you had a falling out or you haven't heard from them since, you could hear from them. It's not, the Lovers means integration, the completion of the cycle, coming together with the energy. Spirit is watching out over all of you. There is some sort of passion around this, so it could be, if it was your friend, for example, that you went out and had fun together, or maybe you created things together. It is a bit of a push me, pull you type of energy, so you don't always agree. And there's a snake here for transformation. There is a lot going on in your chart about transformation. You have two major arcana here, so this is very important. This is a very important month for you. And now let's look at your horoscope, and I'll tell you the technical reasons as to why this is so important. But you'll see immediately, even if you're not into astrology, you'll see this red cross in the middle with a box around it. So this is called a grand cross. It is a hugely challenging but transformational aspect in astrology. We don't see it that often, thankfully, or thankfully, whichever way you look at it, because it means something is ending so something new can begin. And it's not easy to let go of the past, all the time, but that's what we're being called to do. For you, it's to do with the way that you approach the world, getting your message out into the world. Oh, and I must tell you, because it is the moon involved, this Grand Cross only lasts for probably 2 days. Okay, so it's probably the 30th of May and the 1st of June, perhaps the 2nd of June. You might need a day to get over it. So because the moon is constantly moving, okay, so it's only when it's in orb of these other planets that it's actually going to come into effect. So it could even be less than a day, in truth be known. It is conjunct the South Node here, so this is something to do with a situation that's been in your past, your history, could have been there for a long time, and it's how you get your message out into the world, okay? Maybe have a partnership with somebody that helps you if you're in your own business, for example, and they help you get your message out, and now all of a sudden they decide they don't want to do that anymore. That's one sort of indicator. But it's also to do with your identity and your appearance in the world as well. You could change your appearance. This is opposite Jupiter here in your 7th house of partnerships. So it could be something to do with a partner. It's a committed partnership. It could also be a legality or open enemy, which an open enemy is just someone that you don't get on with that well, and they probably don't get on with you, but you know about it, so it's nothing unusual in that fact. Jupiter is conjunct the North Node. The North Node is where you're going to go in your life, and Jupiter is expanding that, expanding your future, expanding your destiny. It's wonderful. Maybe there's a new partner coming in, or something to do with legalities. Could be a breakthrough or something very fortunate for you. It could also be if you have an open enemy, there's some change in that relationship as well. It's probably less that. It's probably more to do with partnerships, and legalities would be the second thing. As part of that, we also have a challenging aspect with Mars up here in your career zone, or maybe to do with an authoritarian type figure, and you could be full of ambition and energy to move your career forward, but that's also being challenged or opposed actually by Pluto in your 4th house of home and family. You might have commitments at home you have to take care of, responsibilities. It interferes with your career in some way, and you're only one single person, so you can't do everything basically, so you have to pick and choose what your priorities are. Okay, so that's how it starts off the month. And then on the 4th of the month we have the full moon in Sagittarius here, shaking up your money zone, your personal money zone, or maybe your possessions or the things that you value in life, so money could come into it. On the 6th we have Venus joining Mars in your career zone here in Leo. This is beautiful. It's going to bring the best of the feminine and the masculine. They're going to be conjunct. Their energies are going to blend, and something's turning out for you. So even if there's some sort of breakdown in a partnership, or something that falls over, there's something new that probably starts, and it's concerning your career or authority figure, or maybe even your status. You could become more well known on social media, for example, because opposites do attract. So Venus and Mars are opposite, and they're getting it on. So 12th of June sees Mercury going into Gemini and Pluto going back into earthy Capricorn. So Mercury is going into Gemini here. There's lots of discussions about shared resources, those things that you share with another person, or perhaps a company or even the government. So lots of communications and ideas. And then at the same time, Pluto's already retrograde. It went retrograde on 1st of last month, but going back into your third house of communications, you may become a bit quieter, things become more internalized. So the changes going on within you, it's going to take a little bit of time for you to process what's actually happening. On the 17th, Saturn goes retrograde, and on the 30th, Neptune goes retrograde here in your 5th house. So this is to do with, again, things becoming internalized, maybe some feeling of limitation around your creativity, but at the same time it could become somewhat more spiritual. All these things are internal, so you might be going through lots of spiritual experiences, but you're not actually playing them out yet into the outside world. So you let those changes happen, and then you decide what you're going to put out to the outside world. On the 18th, the new moon goes into Gemini as well, bringing a fresh start around your shared finances or shared resources with another, or perhaps even intimacy with another person. On the 22nd, the sun goes into watery Cancer up here, bringing a lot of insight and awareness around travel, spirituality, or perhaps even education or philosophy, anything to broaden your life, and there's some happiness with it, so that's good. The 27th sees Mercury also joining the sun, so lots of communications and brilliant ideas. So that's it for your month, dear Scorpio. Try not to get too stressed. Don't take on too much. This is really not the best time because there's so much change in the air. It's really not the best time to take on new things just yet. Okay, wait for the dust to settle, and you might have some brilliant ideas that you can then act upon. Thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to check out your moon and ascendant signs as well. Have a wonderful month. Bye for now. Hello and welcome, Savvy Sagittarius. I'm here with your June 2023 horoscope, in case you missed that. Alrighty, so let's go to the board and see what the cards have to say and what your horoscope says. Okay, so we'll come to your horoscope in a moment, but first I'll pull 2 cards as theme cards for the month for you. Okay, so out and about in nature here, the weather is very changeable. I see a woman walking along with an umbrella. She puts it up because it starts raining. She takes it down because it's sunny, and then she puts it up again. It's a bit like living in Melbourne in Australia, how the weather changes all the time. Okay, so this means that you have a lot of changing circumstances around your environment, okay? You might be the same person you always were, but as you move forward, and you are progressing in life, but there are these changes that keep happening in the environment. The card that comes up is the 4 of Wands. This is a great time for having time out, rest and relaxation. Enjoy some of the harvest, what you've worked for. There's a window of opportunity here. It won't be available to you all of the time, but yeah, you'll recognise it. So it's a bountiful time. There's likely to be peace and prosperity around you and some feeling of abundance, which is good news. Make the most of it. A lot of growth as well with all these green leaves. Okay, so that's good news. Now, the second half of the month, what do I see? Okay, it's a bit like going into a gold mine. I see this frame at the start, which is like the entrance of the mine. You might not be sure where you're going, but there is gold in them. There are hills, so keep going. Don't give up. All right, let's see. The card that comes out is the Wheel of Fortune. Keeps coming out today. It suggests that things are changing around you. Okay, so if I could put it down to a theme, I would say it's changing circumstances, as indicated by the vision with the weather, the change in the weather. Okay. By the way, if you are going out, this doesn't have to be just spiritual, what I'm saying, spiritually speaking, could be physically too, so do be prepared for all sorts of weather. All right, let's make this bigger so you can see better. Keep these 2 cards in mind as I speak, because, you might see connections between what I'm saying. The first thing to notice, which is there for the whole world to see, on all of the star signs after Libra, is this Grand Cross. It's a challenging time, but it's also transformational time. So it's particularly the 30th of May and 1st of June. It won't last long because the moon is involved here, and it moves really quickly. So these changes may have ongoing effects, but the absolute, sort of feelings and emotions around it won't last long. We have the moon conjunct the south node, something from the past involving your friends, groups and associates, or perhaps your hopes and dreams, that elicits compellingly strong feelings, okay? So something around a friend or an associate that brings up a lot of emotion is going to be opposing this drive in you for creativity or perhaps even romance, okay? Jupiter is conjunct your north node here, and this is the way of your future. So we've got the past versus the future, the past of the people that you know already versus the future about wanting to expand your life. You just might not have time for the people that you normally associate with. You might run out of time because you have this great expansive energy going on to do with your creativity and perhaps your inner child. At the same time, we have Mars here in your ninth house, which is all about expansion as well. The ninth house is about broadening your horizons. Sometimes it's to do with travel or spirituality or education. And Mars is giving you a lot of ambition, but this is also will also oppose Pluto, because Pluto will go back into Capricorn. And things could come. It is retrograde already. It went retrograde on the 1st of May. So this is likely to be internal feelings or consideration, focus on your finances or possessions or the things that you value change in your life. The full moon is in Sagittarius here in your sign, and that shakes things up about your identity and how you move and approach the world. So who you are, there's some sort of shake-up. You realise that maybe the people that you used to associate with are not sort of in alignment with, what you believe, basically. Then we have on the 6th, Venus joining Mars, and this is a great energy because it's the male and the female coming together to bring more focus on how you can broaden your horizons. So this is pretty good news, and it also suggests some sort of completion or integration of the male and female aspects of broadening your life through study, spirituality, philosophy, education, that sort of thing. So it's a great coming together. Then we have on the 12th Mercury going into Gemini and Pluto back into Capricorn. Okay, so Mercury is here in your 6th house of everyday life, work and health, and it's going into your house of committed relationships. So sometimes it's legalities as well, but mostly it's committed relationships. And so this suggests a lot of new energy around communications and brilliant ideas. Then we have Pluto that I just mentioned. It was in your 3rd house, goes back into your 2nd house. And so there's a lot of transformation around your money supply, okay, both personal, and then you can see with Mercury going into your 8th house, it'll be shared resources, shared money, that which you share with somebody else, maybe another company or a government department, and there's communications about that as well. And Mercury goes into that house on the 12th, it goes into the partnership house on the 12th, and then it goes into the 9th house on the 27th. The new moon is here in your house of partnerships, sort of indicating a new beginning, okay? So there could be a lot of discussions, and then you work out some way to revamp or put a new beginning on your important relationships. The sun is in watery Cancer on the 22nd here, maybe to do with intimacy, but there's some sort of happiness or insight and awareness concerning what you share with other people, businesses or governments. And then we also have on the 17th, Saturn going retrograde here in your house of home and family, and on the 30th, Neptune going retrograde. meaning that there could be a feeling of restriction or limitation to do with home and family, but when Neptune goes retrograde, then you're looking more at the spiritual aspects of home and family. You know, maybe you can put some structure around whatever this limitation is concerning home and family, and there's a spiritual energy that comes out of it because you'll be more focused within. Okay, so that's it, Savvy Sagittarius. I hope this is helpful for you. Thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to check out your moon and your rising or ascendant sign as well. Have a fabulous month. Thanks and bye for now. Hello and welcome everybody. You're watching the Capricorn June 2023 horoscope. Thank you so much for watching. Let's go to the board now and we'll see what your horoscope and the cards have to say for June. So I'll close my eyes, and for the first half of the month, something about the refrigerator door keeps opening. Are you eating more at the moment? I see this, I thought it was a door, like, you know, new opportunities or something like that, and then I realised it was the fridge. So, yes, so you may need to be eating things like soups and hearty stews and casseroles and things like that, rather than keep going to the fridge for chocolates or whatever. Let's see what card we get. It's the King of Wands. Okay, this is a fabulous card. It brings a sort of conscientious type of energy into your life. It's usually someone who's quite honest and just, and somebody who's also quite spiritually aware, but brings this spirituality down to earth. See, he's seated on a wooden throne there, and he has looks like an eastern water dragon at his feet. So listening to his instincts so that he can create. It's all about creation. A lot of growth here and a lot of activity and a lot of success as well. The sunflowers in the background indicate awareness and insight and some degree of contentment. He's proud of, you know, what he's achieved. This could be you, or it could be somebody that you meet in June or that you already know. Some green leaves there, which also means growth, but getting on with it, creating. Maybe there's new projects or something along those lines. Okay, you've got a lot happening here in your fifth house as well, which also indicates that there is a bit of a focus on creation. The second half of the month, you courageous Capricorns. Okay, what do I see? All right, a lot to do with work. I'm in a truck, and the driver, I'm sitting next to the driver who's changing direction, moving to the right. Trucks are about work. There seems to be some sort of more analytical thinking going on, planning, strategizing around your job. You do have some elements here connected to your everyday work, so I will be covering that shortly. The card that comes up, is the Ten of Swords. Okay, so there could be a situation particularly to do with your work, and I'm talking about probably paid work, but not necessarily, but a situation where you feel like you've been stabbed in the back or something like that. It's the end of a cycle. However, there is a new cycle about to begin. This is a 10, which is 1 and 0. So it's going to take a little bit of time before the new energies come in, but they are coming. You'll see all these butterflies here, and there's lots of them. So new, fresh starts, some action to be taken. It might be a bit of a shock. A 10 of Swords is never, you know, what can I say? It's not probably pleasant. It could be some sort of misfortune or pain indicated, but at the same time, it's also the start of a new cycle that's bringing new life to you. If you're in a job you're not happy with, you may change. Okay, let's get some more clarification on that as we proceed forward with your horoscope. Alrighty, I'm going to make this a bit bigger. Okay, so the first thing you notice here, and I must say, if you've listened to the introduction, you would have heard me say that the second half of the zodiac all have grand crosses in their chart. So this is from Libra right through all of the signs up to Pisces, and you're no exception. For you, Pluto here could indicate something to do with your finances, versus, which is in opposition to the Mars energy that you have here in shared resources. So you have a drive to achieve, you have energy for doing something, but Pluto, which is all about transformation from one state to another, is at odds with your drive to succeed. So it can mean a type of death, but a transformation so that a new life begins, that you rise like a phoenix from the ashes, okay? And that subject is to do with money, possessions, or the things that you value. And then over here we have Jupiter conjunct your North Node in the 5th house of creativity, romance, and leisure and pleasure. And your future is to expand your creativity, to expand your leisure and pleasure, and even perhaps romance. Live closer to the world of the child and be happy. That is opposing your South Node conjunct Moon, which is like your past, and the Moon bringing up the subconscious contents of your past, which is in opposition to where you're supposed to be going, moving forward in your life. However, on the upside, so that's sort of the negatives on the upside, this is only for a day or two. The Moon moves really fast, so it's going to move away from the South Node, and this Grand Cross will probably only be for the 30th of May and the 1st of June. And I only mention it because it's starting the month, and I always think there's a heavier emphasis on, how the month starts, okay? So it's not the end of the world. It's a challenging but a very transformative time. Now, let's have a look at your horoscope in depth, bearing these cards in mind, and we'll get into it. So we have the full moon here in Sagittarius, and it's in your 12th house, bringing up a lot of your subconscious contents, okay? So part of this Grand Cross is probably going to be associated with this, because this is on the 4th, so it's just after the Grand Cross. The subconscious is releasing things, and there could be a bit of a shake-up. So do watch your dreams and your meditations as well. On the 6th, Venus joins Mars in Leo here. Now, this is a fabulous energy around intimacy, and also, or perhaps around the things that you share with others. By the 6th, you are starting to get a handle on whatever the situation is. The male and the female energies are coming together to support you, and you're integrating this energy, you're taking it on board, and you're dealing appropriately with it. Opposites attract. Venus and Mars are great together, so you're going to get a handle on it. On the 12th, Mercury goes into Gemini, and also Pluto goes back into Capricorn. So Mercury here going into Gemini, lots of discussions and new ideas around what you do on a daily basis, including your habits, your work, and your health and well-being. And with Pluto here going back into your sign, then it's going to bring a sort of a focus on your identity or your appearance and how you are in the outside world. So there's some sort of transformation going on around how you move through the outside world, what you do in the outside world, but it's more about you rather than just what you're doing or how you're moving, if that makes sense. Then on the 17th, Saturn is retrograde here in your 3rd house, and Neptune goes retrograde on the 30th of the month, also in your 3rd house, meaning that communications and spirituality can become more internalized. You might go a little bit quieter. Maybe you don't communicate as readily. Some sort of restriction around you communicating. Maybe you're just keeping to yourself and you think you better lay low for a bit, or something like that. On the 18th, the new moon in Gemini here brings a brand new start around your everyday activities, your work, or perhaps your health and well-being. So something to do with work might finish, and then something new starts to do with work. Or if you're not working, maybe it's your health or your well-being that is favourably affected. 22nd sees the sun going into watery Cancer. This is your house of significant commitments and partnerships. It's beautiful, it brings happiness, it brings insight and stability around your partnerships. It could be marriage or the people that you have partnership arrangements with. Mercury goes into Cancer on the 27th, here as well supporting the sun, with favourable communications. They'll be conjunct, and it'll be insightful and favourable communications around your partnerships. Okay, so that's it. Hope this is helpful to you, courageous Capricorns. Just try at the start of the month not to do too much, because it could be a bit stressful. So try to, keep your own counsel and just know that things are going to work out fine because you've got a brand new beginning coming. Okay, have a great month, everyone. I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now. Hello and welcome everybody. I've got the Aquarius June 2023 horoscope for you. Okay, let's go to the board now and have a look what's in store. We're going to look at the 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you firstly. And the first one at the first half of the month, what do I see? Okay, somebody's holding some pink quartz crystal. Actually, it's with the left hand, and holding it out to me like that. And I think it means healing of your heart. Okay, somebody's offering you some sort of healing this month. If you don't meet anyone like that, it'll be up to you to offer it to yourself somehow. Let's see what card we get. The card that comes out is the World card. This is absolutely fabulous. The world is your oyster. Things are starting to move your way. It might be that you've been through a bit of a rough time lately and it's taken some time. So, doesn't happen in 5 minutes, but it does happen. And I think the attainment of wealth and prosperity, the attainment of rewards from your projects, your labour, and some sort of positive change in status is likely for you with the World card. It's a major arcana. Things are looking up. All right, and the second half of the month for you, dear Aquarius, what do I see? Oh, this is a bit strange. Not sure how to interpret this. I'm in ancient Rome or Greece. I see the columns. I can't remember what the this is called. It's the column at the top, and it's got the curly sort of scrolls. I don't know if that's Ionic, Dorian, or Corinthian. I tend to think it's Corinthian. And that's something to do with Greece, I believe. If you're into ancient history, let me know what type of column it is. But ancient history is a focus, so that can be either in your life or going back in your family, particularly if you're Greek or Italian. There might be some recognition of your ancestors. Okay, the card that comes up is the Hierophant. Okay, another major arcana card. You've got a lot of knowledge, dear Aquarius, that you may be sitting on and not necessarily using. So upstairs is sort of, I guess, trying to encourage you to use the knowledge that you have. There's a lot of spiritual beliefs and concern for other people. Maybe it's time to get that out into the world. Red means take action, okay? There's 2 keys here. I think one is knowledge and the other is wisdom, because you need to have the wisdom to know how to correctly apply the knowledge. Don't sit on your knowledge anymore. Take some action, do something positive with it. It's a major arcana card along with the World card. You may decide you're going to do something significant and life-changing. Maybe you're going to get onto YouTube, or maybe you're going to leave YouTube and look for something that is more better for you in some way. Okay, so keep those cards in mind. Now we're going to make this bigger, like that. You'll see this Grand Cross is the very striking thing, the first thing that you see most probably. And it's all about challenging transformation in your life. Things are not going to stay the same, they're going to transform, and it is a bit of a challenge. We have Pluto here opposite Mars, your energy for your important committed relationships, which sometimes can be a little bit overpowering or strong perhaps. And Pluto is, trying to transform that energy. It's trying to bring something to an end so that something new can start. And because it's in your sign, it particularly, Pluto there particularly affects you. So it's the end of an era so that a new era can start around your appearance, your identity, and who you are in the world, okay? Sounds a bit exciting, doesn't it? Then we have the other part of the grand trine is we have Jupiter conjunct your north node here, your future, especially to do with your home and family, okay, and your roots as well, how far back your family goes. There's some degree of expansion here, wanting to maybe expand your family or your home in some way, but it's in conflict with the history of the past, and maybe something to do with other people involved, and also your subconscious, your feminine side. These two are also conjunct. Now, the thing about this is the moon moves really quickly. It's only going to be a day or two, so it's probably the 30th of May and the 1st of June, and that could be quite a stressful time. So it's not the best time for you to be doing important things. Try and calm down. Have some R&R on around those 2 days, or maybe the 2nd of June as well, and the transformation is taking place within. Okay, let's have a look at some of these other aspects as well. We've got a full moon on the 4th in Sagittarius up here, bringing a bit of shake-up to your connections, the people you know, especially if you haven't seen them for a while. There might be some, major changes there with your associates, your friends, your groups, and also your hopes and dreams. On the 6th of the month, Venus is conjunct. It actually changes houses to go into your house of committed relationships, and these two are going to be conjunct. Venus and Mars are going to be right next to each other. This is going to bring some sort of unity or completion, some sort of integration of energies, the male and female energies in your important relationships. It's pretty important, and it's going to probably, I would think, it'd be very beneficial and positive for your relationships, regardless of whether it's a male or a female partner. It doesn't matter. They're both there. Mars the male and Venus the female. Then we have on the 12th two things: Mercury going into Gemini and Pluto going back into earthy Capricorn. So Mercury here going into Gemini, it's going to affect your leisure and pleasure and your creativity, and also perhaps even romance. There's lots of communications and lots of fresh ideas. And then with Pluto going back into Capricorn, this is going to bring a sort of transformation deep down in your subconscious, relating to maybe your spirituality, and maybe even if you give to charity or something to do with institutions such as prisons, for example. It could be some major change, the end of a cycle, and it's so a new cycle can begin and something rises from the ashes. On the 17th, Saturn is retrograde, and on the 30th, Neptune is retrograde, both in your second house of values, what you think is important in your life, but also your finances and your possessions as well. There's some sort of limitations here, and you could just be, there might be no physical change, but you're feeling it in your mind, in your subconscious. You're feeling some sort of structure or limitation. Maybe you come up with a plan and you're sticking to your plan, for example. And with Neptune retrograde, your subconscious forces are very much internalized, so you might need to meditate or look at your dreams or something to see what's happening there, because they sort of probably get pushed down a bit, any feelings about money or your possessions or the things that you value. We do have on the 18th a new moon in Aries Gemini here, bringing a brand new beginning to your leisure and pleasure, your creativity and your romance. And on the 22nd, the sun also moves from this area into your work zone, into your health, your wellness, and your everyday routines. So at some point, these two are going to be conjunct the sun and the moon, relating to your creative juices. You could get something really marvelous built or created in that time. And then the sun will come here and will also be joined by Mercury on the 27th, bringing brand new ideas and lots of communications around what you do on a daily basis. Alrighty, so that's it, Aquarius. I do hope you have a wonderful month, and try not to be too concerned for the start of the month, because something wonderful is going to come out of the transformation as you let something from the past, as you let it go, and maybe write in a journal or something like that. That will help you get in touch with what's going on in your subconscious. Have a wonderful month. Don't forget, check your moon and your ascendant as well in this video. I'll see you later. Bye for now. Hello and welcome, passionate Pisces. I've got your June 23 horoscope. Lots of changes. Let's go to the board now. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is draw these 2 tarot cards, which are theme cards for the month for you. Okay, this one wants to come out, and don't be worried about this, because to put it in sort of simple terms, yes, it is the end of something, and it's something that your mind has built up, but it hasn't been built on strong foundations, so it is going to come tumbling down. However, you should not be particularly worried about this, because you're going to adjust really quickly. And when we come to your horoscope, I'll show you why. There's a huge transformation going on in your life. This is in the first half of June, and although it's not a pretty looking picture, if you're honest with yourself, you may have seen the writing on the wall, because we've got this eye up here in the sky, the eye of mind. You may have had little flashes, particularly if you're sensitive. You may have noticed little things. So this, situation coming to an end, it's going to be probably, and I'll come to this in a moment with Pluto, but it'll probably be reborn afresh in some way. Okay, I'll talk more about that in a moment. It is a major arcana, so at first it's quite significant. Let's have a look in the second half of the month for you, passionate Pisces. I see a sword being pulled out of the scabbard. You may need to defend yourself with clever and logical thinking. Okay, the sword is the ability to cut, dissect and analyse. You'll be analysing a situation and working out what's really going on. Particularly as a Pisces, like I said, you've probably already got the intuition. This one also just jumps out, the Justice card. Justice will be done. There is such a thing as karma, and it can sometimes relate to legal affairs or legal things. There's nothing in your house of legalities to indicate that, so I think it's more karmic justice. Action's going to be taken. You'll weigh up the evidence. You'll hear your intuition through the little owl on her shoulder. And then you'll make the decision, cutting through to the core of the matter, and then you'll take action with both feet on the ground in practical reality. It is a major arcana, so quite significant. The 2 of these together suggests that something's coming to an end in your life. It was something you were hoping was going to work out, but you probably knew that there was problems there. So, bearing those in mind, I want to draw your attention now to this Grand Cross here. All of the second half of the zodiac has a Grand Cross. On the upside, it's only right at the beginning of the month. It's very quick, 30th of May, 1st of June, around there. Okay, it does involve the moon, which is very fast moving, so you could have some sort of issue to deal with, and then just as quickly you deal with it and you move on. So we have the moon and the south node conjunct here, and this is the house of the higher mind. It could be to do with study. It could be to do with spiritual pursuits, or whatever way it is that you broaden your mind regarding the outside world, whatever adventures you undertake, probably on the mental realm, but maybe on the physical realm as well. These 2 are conjunct, so they're going to blend together, and the subconscious is going to come up, and it's because you've always done things a certain way in the past. That is all changing. Down here we have Jupiter conjunct the North Node in your house communications. It's also is study as well, and sometimes can involve distant relatives or siblings and your local area. Perhaps there's something happening in your local area and there's a lot of communications about that. Your future, your destiny is calling you to grow. There may be something happening there. Maybe you're thinking about moving where you are. There is a fair bit happening here. To do with your home and your family as well. So let's get on and have a look at the rest of this now. Before I do, I've jumped. Mars and Pluto are also opposing. Pluto here in your subconscious. There's lots of endings deep down within you, preparing you for new beginnings, because Pluto rises again like a phoenix from the ashes. You might have a lot of energy for your normal everyday things, but that is in conflict to what's going on in your subconscious. It could also be your work or your well-being as well could be involved in this. Okay, so at the start, the start of the month, just take it easy, try and lay low and not do too much. On the 4th, the full moon is in Sagittarius up here, shaking things up in your career, and also to do with your social status or maybe a parent. So there could be some issues, some, sort of tumult going on. So just take it easy, don't overshare on social media. Or you might get more than you bargained for. On the 6th, this is a fabulous influence. Venus joins Mars in Leo, and it's fabulous here in your normal everyday life or your work or your health, because despite whatever happened right at the beginning of the month, by the 6th of the month, these two are conjunct and bringing things together, and it's kind of beautiful in a way. And so you're getting a handle on if something happened at work or concerning your health or everyday life, you're getting a handle on it and you're bringing these things together and you're making it work, basically. Opposites attract. On the 12th, Mercury goes into Aries Gemini and Pluto goes back into earthy Capricorn. So Mercury here, lots of discussions around the home and the family and fresh ideas. And Pluto going back into the 11th house of your associates. It's already retrograde, by the way. It went retrograde in May, I think May 1st. And so Pluto here suggests that there's endings around the people that you know, or a group, or maybe even some hopes and dreams that you have. And you realise that the dreams that you thought they were, that's not realistic really. So that might be something to do with the Tower card here. But as I said before, there can be a new beginning, and that'll probably be even better. On the 17th, Saturn goes retrograde, putting some sort of structure or perhaps limitation on how you present yourself to the world concerning your appearance or your identity. But also on the 30th, Neptune is in this house, and this suggests that your spirituality perhaps is internalized, so you're getting more in contact with what's going on deep down within. Sometimes Neptune can be some sort of smokescreen or delusion, so you need to stay quite practical and down to earth and keep your feet on the ground, as in this card here. She has her feet on the ground. Really important to stay practical. Okay, there's a new moon in Aries Gemini on the 18th, bringing a fresh start around your home and family. Maybe you're cleaning up the home, or you're going to do some renovations or beautify your home, or maybe even some socialising, bringing your close friends home. On the 22nd, the sun moves into watery Cancer, bringing happiness, insight, awareness and stability around your creativity, and also leisure and pleasure. Go out and enjoy yourself. And on the 27th, the sun is also joined by Mercury. Lots of brilliant ideas and lots of communications as well. Okay, so that's it, passionate Pisces. Thank you so much for watching. Don't be too concerned about the Grand Cross. It could be, something that just sort of happens and then is resolved very quickly, but resolved on a new level so that, it helps you evolve and go to a much higher spiritual place. So don't be worried about that. Okay, so thanks again, and do check out your sun and your rising sign. Thanks and bye for now.